Hey everyone, and welcome to the rendered plan tutorial to talk about how to do a rendered plan using landscape textures that you have created yourself, for example, from watercolor paints or chalk pastels or any other texture files that you may have created and scanned in. So there's lots of different ways to create an illustrated plan. Yesterday I showed you guys a way to do it with markers and pencil crayon. This is a next step analog technique. So earlier today I did a sped up video showing how I might put together some different planting textures. Now I wanted to demo that on this planting plan. This is a project that I worked on a few years ago in San Francisco. I don't really remember all of the planting details, but I wanted to use this plan because I remember it was a really good base for filling in. And really you want to start with a digital line work plan as much as you can. And I would highly suggest that you work with a plan that has all closed polylines so that there's no open areas, and that is so that you can select different areas and fill them with different textures. So I'm going to just do a quick run through of how to select and save selections so that you can come back to them later. I'm just going to close all my layers. I have everything prepared already, but I'll do a quick demo. So right here I have the line work. And this is all of the line work for the design areas of this garden plaza area. I also have some extra stuff that you guys won't, but you will have some context. So I have this other layer, which is the architectural layer. These are all the buildings that are part of this development and all of the kind of surrounding context, buildings and streets. You'd like to get as much detail as you can in your surrounding context. But I'm going to turn that off for now because it's not really relevant to the part that we want to focus on, which is all of the planted areas and the paving areas here. So within this closed polyline ground plan, you'll notice that there aren't any trees, there aren't any people, there aren't any cars. This is just the outlines of the main areas. So I have all of the paving areas, for example, the paths that go through the site. I also have other hardscape areas. For example, these areas next to the buildings are all wood decks. And then I have other areas of the planting plan. So there are lawn areas, there are understory planting areas, there's accent planting, and other different features in the site. Over here, there's a big boulder. So what you want to have is a plan like this, where you can use the selection tool, the magic wand, and you can click inside an area and add it as a selection. So right now, for example, this is all of the main circulation path in the whole site. And I don't have to worry about it accidentally selecting outside of my site because everything is a closed polyline. So in order to save this selection so that I can call it up again later, I'm going to go up to Select and Save Selection. And I'm going to call this Path. So now if I deselect this with Control D, say I want to bring it up again later, I can just go to Select, Load Selection, and in my drop-down box here in my channel, I can choose Paths. And if I do that, it brings up the selection again. You'll see why that's handy in a few minutes. I'm just going to deselect that again. So the first step in this tutorial is basically to go through your design plan and to select all of the similar areas. So anything that has the same material that you'll want to fill, you want to make that one selection. So I'm going to go and do all of the wood decks now. And I will speed up this part, but I will just show you this one again just for your reference. Okay, so finish off making your selections and saving them in your selections panel. And in the next video, what we're going to do is go through some of the watercolor textures that we created this morning in our swatches, as well as some of the patterns that we have available to us already in our patterns palette. And I'm going to show you how to define and make a seamless pattern texture that we can then use to fill into our planting areas.